Okay, so this picture now will be a familiar picture, no doubt, to many of you. Now, I noticed on the attendee list we have a mixture of HR and training managers, technical managers, QA managers, etc. So I'll try and push this out to make it quite relevant to each of you. But you know, so typically what we find is that you know, you have different areas of responsibility, as I mentioned before, in terms of the compliance and managing the whole compliance itself. I seen for a customer yesterday, or a potential customer yesterday, that they were actually managing 10 different spreadsheets for their training matrix itself and their compliance to manage that. So you know, that's a bit of a nightmare when you're actually trying to get reporting in that for you know, the overall site compliance and that. So you know, we're going to show you very easily how you can bring that all together. Now, this really just gives a little bit of information of some of the common issues or challenges that we're all faced on a day-to-day basis when managing our training and our compliance through spreadsheets. You know, a lot of people tell us about how they spend ages updating the Excel spreadsheet, and typically what happens is that, okay, you either have the clipboard or, you know, a piece of documentation that you need the staff to sign off on. You take the paper out, the paper version of the document out to the staff member, they sign it off, you bring it back in and you update the spreadsheet accordingly, and you put the paperwork into the filing cabinet. Well, gone are the days of doing that, and you know, we're going to show you how you can bring all this electronically onto the one into the one area, and I'm going to show you how we do that through the online demonstration. People talk to us about how staff don't get trained on that latest version of the documentation and how that can be an issue, especially when an auditor comes on site to find that, okay, you know, the version of the documentation that some of the people have been trained on, that it has been out of date. So again, I'm going to show you how we can, you know, help you with that in your day-to-day efforts there. A lot of the people that we talk to as well, you know, one of the questions that we ask them is, you know, what is your compliance rate within the site? And especially from a senior management perspective, you know, your senior managers are naturally very interested in this, because, you know, that really is where I guess their line of responsibility is. But, you know, people can't answer this question a lot of the time, so we're going to show you how you can have a snapshot as to how compliant your site or your overall factories actually are, and again through the use of our BRC Manager solution. Simple reporting, you know yourself, and trying to get them statistics for your senior managers, how by the use of the traditional methods like paper and spreadsheets, it's very, very difficult to bring this information together to obtain and to produce you know, simple reports for your senior managers. So you know, again, that's an area that we do actually address with this. One of the biggest issues that people talk to us about really is the finding paperwork when the auditors are on site. And this is where, as I mentioned before, how we all run about like trying to get our house in order prior to an audit. Whether we like it or not, our clients are actually pushing us a lot more and more these days to become unannounced, and that's part of their criteria. So for us to become a supplier to them, you know, we're being pushed more and more towards the unannounced area itself, or unannounced audits itself. So we are going to show you how we can bring everything together, and as I mentioned, to get you a lot more prepared for them, our auditors, and be more proactive, so that essentially your site becomes ready for unannounced audits every day. Okay, the paperwork we talked about, I know people always say to me, you know, I'm sick and tired of the amount of paperwork and trying to find paperwork, and again, like through the BRC Manager, I'm going to show you how that we can actually you know, reduce that paperwork and essentially reduce the cost of providing training through the paper delivery itself. Okay, and yeah, like one of the key things that our BRC Manager solution does actually do is give you back a lot of time. We know the time is really something that we don't get a lot of within our roles today in terms of you know, technical and quality and that. So what we're going to show you is how a lot of the let's say the legwork in that is actually done in the background, automation within the system, so that we can give you back that much needed time that you can get on to you know, that you can get back to then address other more important parts of your job itself. Okay, so just to touch on the platform BRC Manager, we have 3 different versions of our solution. This is actually provided via an online management account to you. We have our Learning Manager, which really, I suppose, allows you to manage that whole learning and compliance for you know, within the training side of it, and then also the documentation. So whether that's work instructions, SOPs, policies, etc., then that is the area indeed that we actually manage all the courses and the documentation itself. Within this particular learning management side, we can also add the courses that we have actually pre-developed for yourselves for purchase if you want to. Anyone that's interested in our catalogue, we've got over over 25 courses now that you know, whether it's assessments, whether it's level 2, level 3 in health and safety, food safety, etc., even down to manual slips, trips and falls, manual handling, you know, quite a wide variety. So anyone that's interested in them, they can shout up there. Yeah. So that's the area that the Learning Manager version. Then we also have, for all you technical and quality managers, our Audit Manager, where we're able to set up all our internal audits, our BRC self-assessments. We're able to manage our supplier documentation, corrective actions, non-conformances, etc. And we recently have actually introduced to the platform itself the ability to run vulnerability assessments, a very simple process of how you can actually run your own vulnerability assessments. And I know that's quite new to a lot of people, and you know, people are still trying to get their heads around it. So we've come up with a little piece of functionality there that can make your life a lot easier as well. So our Enterprise Edition, then, just to move on, is essentially our Learning Manager and our Audit Manager versions combined together in the one Enterprise Edition, really. So that really focuses on the compliance management from a learning perspective, document management, audit management, and supplier management itself, really. Now, I mentioned a wee bit earlier on about how you know, we're moving away from your more traditional methods, and by taking use of the more modern technology these days, our platform is ably supported by our tablet apps, where it allows you to get access to, as a manager, to your full training matrix. So me as a manager, I can see whilst I'm on the floor via the tablet, my staff members, the people that I'm responsible for, what training that I need to actually get out to them, what documents I need them to sign off, and I can then take the tablet to get to perform on the spot training, where we can have the document downloaded on the tablet. The employee actually reads the documentation, signs it off, and then it's uploaded and synced back into the platform when you're in an online environment again. So really it's all about getting that delivery, paperless delivery of training, of documentation, without the need of the paperwork itself. And again, from, you know, a technical and quality perspective, we also, with the auditing side, we're able to perform our audits paperlessly. So getting rid of the clipboard or the spreadsheet where we're ticking and then going back to the computer to update the results, we're able to actually perform the audit from the tablet and then sync the results back up onto the platform itself, create corrective actions and capture photographic evidence of maybe non-conformances and that as we go along. So that really is a snapshot of you know, what we aim to address through the use of BRC Manager, and how we can actually help you in terms of managing that training matrix itself. Okay, so I'm just going to pop into the platform now, and I just want to open my demo account. Now, I'm going to take you through the platform, but please be advised that this is not a real live environment. It's only, you know, information or data that I have here that's really based on my demo database. So, you know, some of the things and the terminology may be a little bit different to how yours would be. But essentially, this is our platform, and what I would like to do is just to give you a very, very quick overview of the tabs there. We'll talk through these. For all the training, technical and auditing purposes itself, quality purposes, this is essentially our audit manager version of the platform. So if you were using this, then this really does contain information about all your audits and your QMS side of things. The Learning Manager, we're going to focus a wee bit more on this as we go along, and I will pop back to this, but essentially if you think of these little tabs going across the top as folders of information or filing cabinets of information, where we have, you know, we're replacing our folders and we're populating the information within these particular tabs itself. So Learning Manager contains all the information about all things compliance and courses and that as well. And I will, you know, expand a little bit further on this as we go along. Document Manager is where we set up all our documentation. So again, whether it is a, you know, a work instruction, whether it is a policy, whether it is supplier documentation, whether it is checklists, etc., you know, the possibilities are endless there. But you know, essentially, you build up your sets of documentation here. Then we have our Performance Manager. Well, a lot of people are moving more towards you know, performance reviews and that, so we have an area where we can set that up within there as well and monitor that. But a lot of the, I suppose, the information is actually built up within the directories. So within the directories, what we do is we build up our employees, our managers, our suppliers, whoever it is that we're actually having that relationship with or providing a service to, then we would set it up within here. Now, one of the things that I think is quite key to make sure that we advise you of is that a lot of people do think that, you know, with a system like this, that it's a lot of manual and you know, a lot of manual data entry in this particular system, but I can assure you we do actually help you to take a lot of the legwork out, and we pretty much take you know, a lot of the inputting of the data into it. So you will have your own spreadsheets in that that you have containing historical information. This will be about your employees, the training courses, etc., that you maybe have delivered to them or they've been on. Then again, we can get this information through the simple use of an import file into the actual database itself. So you know, we just ask you to populate the information into the data file itself, or to give us a copy of that, and then we do the legwork and input a lot of the data for you. Naturally, there are things like you know, attaching documents and that, and linking documents, you know, that you will do yourself. But around about you know, 2 weeks time, you should be, you know, from point of starting to implement the system, you should be up and running within a couple of weeks of starting the project kickoff if you did want to pursue the system. Okay, then across the side here, we also have a personal account. Now, that is really where your employees, if you give them access to the system, you can give them access at no extra charge to yourselves, but anyone that does have a computer, or even that does want to complete e-learning via the platform, then they can get access, whether it be at home in their spare time. They can get access to complete training courses that are actually provided by us and developed by us and added to your actual account. So they can actually do that as well. For managers, they can get access to see the likes of corrective actions and that they would have outstanding. So again, that is all done through your personal account. Now I'm going to pop into that in a wee while just to show you how that works. So just really, I suppose, starting in the directories and seeing how it all comes together. This is a list of our employees. With our employees, what we can actually do is to have a look at one of the employees there. Let's say I open up William Burke's record. So this is essentially William Burke's file, his folder, where I keep all the information about William and his training plan. So essentially, we're building that up within the system, and this is where we help you to build that up through the import file. So we can see that William, we've got his date of birth there. He's got e-learning access, some of the information there about his email and his password. Now, a lot of people talk to us as well about the ability to attach a photo to an employee's record, how useful that is, especially in large production environments where you've got hundreds of people, which, you know, a name, you like to be able to put the face to a name. So we have the ability to do that there as well. If I just pop open William's training plan, this is his current training plan. And as I mentioned to you, what we do is we set up the documents, we set up the training courses that, you know, that we provide within the organization. And then what we do is we associate or we assign them training courses to the individuals. So this is essentially what William's training plan looks like. I can see that, okay, he's got a few group learner courses that, you know, he has completed, well, one that he has completed. If I have a look at this, this is our course that he has actually completed through e-learning. If I look at the view the record here of this particular course, what I can actually see is William's, the questions that were on the actual course itself, the correct answer to the questions, and the answers that William has actually submitted or supplied, and whether he's right or wrong down here. We can see the overall score of the course itself. This was actually completed via a keypad, the Group Learner keypad system. So William was actually using keypad 2, and the course was actually completed on the 2nd of June of this year, and this is the course that he had completed. I can also view William's certificate. So no need to, when an auditor's on site, to actually go looking in filing cabinets and trying to actually get the paper evidence there. So this is something that's automatically produced at the end of William completing the course. So the information, you don't need to go and print it off on that, it's automatically there. So yeah, there's the information to hand at the touch of a button as well. So that's just to give you a wee bit of an idea on the courses, you know, or the format of the course and the answers to the course itself. We can see here that William has a few of his training needs in the grace period. This is really that they've just been assigned to them, and we're allowing him a reasonable amount of time, which is defined by yourselves as to when we would like him to have actually got that that piece of training or document actually completed by. We have areas here, red is not completed, green is completed. We can look and see, okay, there we can see the policy, the health and safety policy. If I look there and actually have a look at his record, we can see, okay, the actual policy he read, and he signed off the policy on the 17th of August. That was this morning. And here is his signature. Now, this was done via the tablet, so the manager took the tablet out with the document to William. He read the document, he signed off the document itself. So here we have the tablet signatures. This is the employee signature and the manager signature. The manager can actually hold his signature or their signature within the platform, so they don't have to do it all the time, so we can have a copy of that as well. And here we can also see the supporting documents, and this was the document that William was actually trained on. So I can actually open this document and we can see there's the health and safety policy that William read via the tablet and had signed off. So I'm just going to close out of that. That is just an idea of the training plan, but really it's entirely up to yourselves as to, you know, the document groups that that you want to add. You know, if later down the line that there's a, let's say, a new responsibility that William does actually take up and he needs to be trained in a specific discipline, then I can add, I can manage his training plan, and I can say, okay, yes, he does actually need to be, let's say, first aid awareness course. He's going to be our first aid person there. So I'm just going to update the system there. It's as easy as that, and that all happens in the background. Now, when William actually logs on, he will actually see his own personal training account and be able to launch that course within his plan. So no need for you to, you know, go back when William actually completes that course. If it is a course supplied by ourselves, then if he completes and when he completes that course, you don't need to then go back and update a spreadsheet, because that all happens in the background and automatically without manual update. Okay, so that's the training plan. I can also see that we have work groups that we can actually assign people to. So William may belong to, here we can see that he belongs to the Chennai and the slicing work group. You may have multiple work groups that you work in. That your work groups could be production lines, your work groups essentially could be you know, sites. It really does depend on how you've it set up and how you actually work, because we know everybody does work differently. Here I set up the managers and that are responsible for, take overall responsibility for William. So here we can see that William does have 4 different managers, reporting groups there as well, because he does different shifts and you know, as part of different production lines. So again, that's all set up, and once you've got that all set up, like all the information in the background, you know, will then populate out into, or you have it part of the management reportings and that. Okay, so what I want to have a quick look at, I know we talked about the health and safety policy that William had access to there that he completed. I want to show you how we essentially can manage that that document. We talked a little bit about the trainees getting trained on the latest pieces of documentation, or the most up-to-date versions of the document. So we can actually give you document control within the platform as well. This is the health and safety policy that we looked at, that William had actually signed off. Now we put a little bit of information. Again, you define the groups of documents that that each document is associated to. Then we have the revisions. This one here is version 2. It was created yesterday for the purpose of this particular demonstration. The average training period. Well, I know that a lot of auditors nowadays are actually trying to assess how much training that has been provided, you know, within the sites itself. So you're able to actually attach an average training to the actual procedure document or training course itself, and then you're able to get reports on the overall volume or duration of training that has been supplied to the staff. So here we also have the grace period, which was the little yellow column yeah, the little yellow box that we actually had that was in the grace period. You set this, so this is really what you assess to be a reasonable time for the trainees or the staff or managers to have completed that particular element of training. And then we have the validity. If you want to say that, okay, this could be 2 years. I know a lot of them are 2, maybe 1 to 2 years itself. So I'm going to review that document in 2 years' time, and it has a validity period of 2 years as well. We can actually say that we want this to be a live document, and what I will do here is we can have a look at the supporting document itself. This is the supporting files. Essentially what we do is we upload the initial file, and this is the file that has actually been uploaded. We can then actually assign the employees directly when we create the document. So who needs access to this? This is an individual employee. We can also assign work groups. So if you have many employees within a work group, then you know it's going to be quicker to assign the work group rather than each individual employee there. So we can also assign training packs, and this is where for a specific role you may have a training pack for that particular role. It could be cleaners, you know, that are in various different areas of the, you know, the areas of the factory and that. Then you can actually assign the training pack to the document, sorry, to the work group as well. The document has an approval process, so again you can set up who is responsible for approving these documents if you have that line of process itself. And here we can see previous versions of the document. So this is previous version 1. If I look, we can show the details there, and this just shows when the document was actually uploaded. This is just stuff that I done yesterday and prepped for the demo today. But if I want to revise the document, I just click the Up Revise Document here, and I say OK. What it asks me to do is to put in the version here. So I'm going to go version 3, for example. I'm going to attach the revision, the revised document. Now, if I find where I have actually saved that, it might help. Sorry, I'm just going to go into, beg your pardon, just bear with me a wee sec. So, into policies. Okay, let's just say I would, just link this particular one itself. And what I do is I've attached the actual document there. I add it and I save the document. It says that the document is now uploaded and can be viewed in the document pending approval section. So I'll OK that and I'll save that. And now what I can go in and do is based on the document approval process, I can now go in and look at the documents that need and pending approval. I will show that document, show the details of the document, and I can now actually mark that document as a live document. I am the manager, the approving manager that goes in and approves the document itself, the release of the document. Now what actually happens is that in the training records, then we will actually see that everyone who has that particular document, I can't remember if William, oh yeah, he will actually have the version 3 assigned to him rather than version 2. So that automatically happens in the background. So you don't need to then go and update the spreadsheet, because when I have full document control within that section itself, that then means that everyone with the previous document now doesn't see the previous document they have got, and we can guarantee that they are actually on the latest release of the documentation, provided you've managed that within the system. Okay, so that's the up revision of the documents. What I would like to do is to just actually take you into the Learning Manager. I'm conscious of time, so I'm kind of rolling through this, but into the Learning Manager dashboard. Now, this is really where, when people say to us, look, no idea of what our compliance rate is, this is essentially where you get the outputs from the information that we have built up within the system. So all the documents that we've set up, all the training plans that we've set up, all the people who have gone in and actually completed their training, whether it be on a tablet, whether it be e-learning, then all the output comes into this particular area itself. This is the Learning Manager. So this is our dashboard, and what this is currently telling us is our compliance meter. Okay, now I have very little people set up within my database, so my compliance rate is actually quite low, because nobody really does anything unless I'm doing a demonstration. So the rate of training that actually happens on my my platform is quite low. But your environment would be very different, I'm sure, and essentially what our aim to do is to actually help you get right over to the green here and help you to be 100% compliant. Okay, so what we have here is the compliance meter. We're looking at 9% here. So what we can see is the top non-compliance courses that is causing me issues. Now, this is where we talk about the proactive, being proactive rather than reactive to the auditor. So I can now see at a glance, okay, for all of these particular types of training, which areas are actually letting me down. I've got 66 areas that are due of this cleaning work instruction. If I actually view that detail, then what it gives me is a little bit more information as to, well, that's everybody, nobody has completed it. So that's probably an idea to actually run a project, especially if you've got auditors coming on board pretty soon. Then we would want to address this. So it really is flagging and highlighting the areas that potentially are at risk when an auditor actually gets on site. Here we actually have as well the non-compliance chart in terms of management, so the non-conforming managers, and non-conforming managers, okay, that's a bit strong words or whatever, but it really, from a management perspective and the different managers responsible for the training, it allows us then to actually see, okay, who has got you know, the trainees that actually need you know, different lines of training itself. Here we can also have details of the expiry details. So we talk about the documents and that being and the training courses being up to date and you know, in line with the expiry date. So we can see how many documents or how many training procedures, etc., that we have that are that have expired, ones that actually have you know, are within 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So we're able to keep on top of that and make sure that we keep them up to date as we go along. Now, I just wanted to touch a wee bit on the reporting side of things. What we will do is go into the Learning Manager reports here, and this is where we talk about producing simple statistics for senior managers to give us a bit of an idea on what our sites and our compliance actually looks like. Now, I'm going to go, this actually gives you, you know, quite a list of reports that are there, the individual reports. So that's on the employees. I can actually see the employees. If I look at William there and show the report itself, I can see his individual record. I can see what he has done, what he hasn't done, what needs to be completed, etc., what has expired. So we're able to say, okay, his training, according to the report itself, he needs some refresher training on different areas, but in this case he actually doesn't. I can see what again, the training plans, the documents and that, and the training courses that are within William's plan, the policies, SOPs, etc., what the training programs have been, when they've been completed or not available as they're in the grace period, so we can see what is pending, what has been completed, and what hasn't been completed itself. Down the bottom here we can actually look and see it by percentage as well, so we get an overall idea as to what the metrics are there. I can actually look at it in terms of a manager. If I now, and I'm just picking out a couple of you know, more of the reports that you'd probably want to look at. So here from a manager's perspective, I can see Barry Harper. Okay, let's have a wee look at Barry Harper's team and see what how Barry's getting on with his training. We can see there's a larger proportion here for Barry that he hasn't actually addressed yet. So Barry might want to get on to the 82% of his training requirements that have not been completed yet. And here we can see the employees down the side. This could be, you know, a unique identifier payroll number, whatever you want that to be, because sometimes we do have multiple employees with the same names, etc. So here we've got, going across the top, all the procedures or the documents, the training courses. We've got the employee name down the side. And if we actually look, let's say we go to William's record there, we can see William's record. And if we go across the side here, we get the information on all of these. So this is essentially where all the automation in the background actually happens and populates this particular sheet itself. So we can see, yes, all the documentation, the clean and work instructions, etc., fire warden that he hasn't completed, first aid, and right across even to, you know, the policies and that itself. Yeah. So the interesting thing and what I really like about this myself as a manager, what I like is to be able to say, okay, which employees in my team are going to cause me the most risk, or are, you know, the most risky areas in terms of an auditor coming on board to do an audit and looking, you know, to find information on these guys' training. So if they were to pick, say, Jack Harper, for example, I want to see a training record of Jack Harper for this particular course that we know that he needs to have, then you've kind of had it. So this is as I say, what I really like is giving the overall rate of compliance per the employee itself. So that just really touches a little bit, and to give you a little bit of an overview on the reporting side. I talked a wee bit about the compliance manager, and that gives you the high-level overview in the dashboard, as I mentioned earlier. But one of the things that I haven't touched on, and I'm just going to pop back to my presentation here, is the the tablet device, because as I mentioned, nowadays like people are turning a lot more and getting rid of the traditional long-winded, heavy workload, heavy paperwork process of training through paper. And also updating on spreadsheets and that. So by taking use of more modern technology via the tablet apps that we have. So I can't show you via an online demonstration, as I'm sure you can appreciate, the actual tablet app. So I've taken a few screenshots here. This is essentially the tablet app homepage. So in terms of the training plans, a manager report, work groups. We also have auditor, the auditing side, but this is essentially within the Learning Manager platform. So managers can get access to all this information. This is essentially a screenshot of the employees, and again, looking at how compliant that they are. If we look at the actual course itself, we can see the screenshot of a course actually launched within the tablet. And that's just a couple of screenshots there. This is the the actual training record for the employee, Patrick Atkinson here. We can see what has been assigned to him, what has completed, not completed, and essentially what would happen is that they can just select on the procedure that he needs to be trained on and get that signed off. There's the employee signature that we had. And actually what I want to do just before the Q&A session is I just want to pop back to the platform, and I'm just going to log out of my admin panel, and I'm going to log in as I beg your pardon, I'm going to log in as a user. So whether I am an employee or whether I am a manager actually logging on, in this case I'm going to log in as a manager. I just want to pop you into the personal account to give you visibility as to what the individuals will actually see. I'm logged on as a manager, so I will see everything because I've got full management access here. But each individual employee, if you give them access to the training courses that we can supply you with, or the documentation and that, then again, they can get access to that. So from here, what I can see, all right, I've got a few different courses assigned to me. This is a manager access. I've got corrective actions for all them techie people out there, technical people, quality people, document approval, anything that I need to approve, and again, performance related plans, etc. So in this case, I have got access to do my training online. So from here, what I can do is for the fire warden training, I am going to launch the fire warden training and just take you through a little bit of an idea as to how our pre-developed courses actually work. So this is one from our catalogue, and I'm just going to be a wee bit quiet through here, and I'll come back to you in a second, but I'm just going to launch this to show you how it works.
Hello, my name is Maria, and I will be leading you through this fire warden course. It is a requirement for all premises to have an adequate number of trained, certified fire wardens or marshals to allow for safe evacuations if it becomes necessary. Did you know that the Fire and Rescue Authorities attended around 200,000 incidents of fire in Ireland and the UK last year? In the UK there were 271 fatalities. In Scotland there were 46 fatalities. In this module, we will cover the following areas. The key elements of fire. There are a number of classes of fire. Let's check your knowledge so far. Well done, that is correct.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I just pop back in again. I'm just going to close that down for the purpose of the demo. But it was just I flicked through that quite quickly just to give you a little bit of a format of that. So so yeah, that kind of draws us to a conclusion on the session. I have A few more minutes left for some questions there. Let's have a wee look now. If you bear with me a second, sorry. That's on Andrea. Is the presentation available at the end to discuss with other colleagues, or should we take notes? Sorry, Andrea, I should have actually, I think you asked that quite early on in the session itself. We do make a recording of this particular session, so you'll be pleased to know that we will be able to actually get it to you once we have condensed it. You know, we just condense it down to a more manageable format to actually get through your mailing system. So anybody that's interested in that, you know, pop up your question there and we can certainly get that to you. Got quite a few questions actually coming through here, so we'll just take a few more. Omar, Omar, you're asking how much is it? Well, we have, as I mentioned, the different versions of the platform. Learning Manager, Audit Manager are both individually priced at £249 per year for a 3-user system. That gets you your implementation, your training, and also all your support for that particular year itself. Now, with the implementation, as I mentioned, we do a lot of the legwork on that. So, you know, we aim to get you up and running within a couple of weeks of starting the project itself, so don't be put off by that. It's very much, you know, something that we take a lot of the legwork out. We do know how busy that you are, and how getting time to actually implement something like this, you know, would actually shy some people away from it. But certainly, you know, we will take a lot of the legwork out of, you know, implementing and setting up the system. For our Irish clients or people that are attending this morning, that's Learning Manager and Audit Manager as the two individual versions. That's in euro. We have 3295 per year, and that's again for the 3-user system, including everything that I mentioned. Additional users in pounds is £495, and for euro it is 695. If you were interested in the enterprise version, the price for the enterprise version, to include the Learning Manager, Audit Manager, and all the QMS features, that's £495 per year for a 3-user system, including all the additional areas that I covered off. And for a euro pricing on that, I think it's 6,495 with an additional 695 for every additional user if you needed them. Jennifer, you're asking how long does it take to set up? I would hope that I've answered that, but again, very quickly, we can get you up and running within a couple of weeks of you know, of actually starting the project itself. We ask you for a lot of the information that you know, from your, you know, all you're doing is copying and pasting information from your own spreadsheet into an import file, which we then upload into the system itself. We can even get information on, you know, courses that, let's say, your completed courses that you have on different dates. Then again, we can actually upload that so that it stamps it in the system, and you know, your system is pretty much ready to go within a couple of weeks itself, if not shorter. Okay, Dimitri, you're asking, how can I train staff that don't work on the factory site? Dimitri, hopefully I'll have answered that through the demonstration. The tablet really is a great option for that. We have a lot of customers that do actually have remote staff, like working out in farms and things like that. So you know, what happen is that the managers actually take the tablet out, or indeed you can give them access via e-learning if they have internet connection at home. Some of them don't, you see, which is why the tablet actually is a great tool for doing that, because you don't have to be in an online environment to provide the training. What we do is we download the actual course onto the tablet, we take it out, and the employee reads it, signs it off, and then when we get back into an online environment, then the information and the, you know, the signatures and that are all synced up onto the platform itself. So yeah, employee can, sorry. Tony, you're actually asking how much info employees can the system hold. Well, you know, that's like we've got some of the, as you can imagine, the larger food groups there, you know, that are holding, you know, quite a huge amount. Like, I mean, you know, one of the sites that we actually have has got about 2,500 employees there. We've yet to have any difficulty, but essentially, you know, it's as long as a piece of string, really, Tony. There's no limit to that. You know, and likewise as well, there's no limit to, let's say, for and I know it's going off the line of training, but you know, for your employees to log on, we give you that access free of charge as well, and for also like supplier access to their little area of the system, we give that free of charge as well, but that's a different webinar. So yeah, to be honest with you guys, there's quite a lot of questions actually coming through here. What I'll do is I do try to follow up with each of you after the session itself, even if it's just to get your feedback and what your thoughts are in ways that we can improve the session. But I suppose we'll bring it to an end now, and I'll hope to catch you all in a follow-up call. All I want to say is thanks very much for joining us. I know it's a challenge getting time to, you know, out of your schedules to join it, so appreciate your time. Hope you found it useful. And what I'm going to do is just to put up the last slide that we actually have. If any of you are interested in the next webinars that we have, we've got one coming up on the 7th of September for all you technical and quality people, how to easily manage your audits and your supplier documentation. You know, if you do want to have your own one-to-one session, online session like today, but where you can talk, then feel free to, you know, get in touch. My details are there, my email address is there. Or again, you know, you can actually visit our website and have a look at, you know, the information there and the webinars. But once again, thanks a million, guys, and I'll keep this information on for a couple of minutes anyway. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye now and have a good day.